I stared at the text message from my mother while sitting in my hospital office, still in scrubs from a 12-hour shift. Christmas dinner at our house, 6 p.m. sharp. We're having important guests, hospital board members. This is a big year for us. Important guests. Of course. My parents never hosted family dinners anymore. Only networking opportunities disguised as holidays. I texted back, "I'll be there." My mother's response was immediate. "Maybe don't mention work too much? Keep things light and festive. Don't mention work." Right. Because my mother, Patricia Reynolds, nurse manager at Riverside General Hospital, loved talking about her own medical career but found mine somehow awkward. Probably because I'd made different choices than she'd wanted. I looked at my calendar. The surgery was scheduled for December 28th, 3 days after Christmas. A complex spinal fusion for a 12-year-old girl named Emma Chin who'd been in chronic pain for 2 years. Her parents had waited months for this date, coordinating everything around it. My phone rang. Dr. Sarah Martinez, my mentor and chief of neurosurgery. "Jordan," she said, "I just got invited to a Christmas dinner by Patricia Reynolds. Your mother, right?" My stomach dropped. "She invited you?" "And 3 other members of the Patient Safety Review Board," Sarah continued. "She's up for the chief nursing officer position, isn't she?" "She's been campaigning for 6 months," I confirmed. I accepted. "See you there." "Unfortunately," I said, "my mother still introduces me as our daughter who works at the hospital, without mentioning I'm a neurosurgeon." Sarah was quiet. "Jordan, you're one of the best residents I've ever trained. Why does she?" "I don't know," I cut in. "I stopped trying to understand years ago." Christmas Day arrived cold and bright. I changed into the dress my mother had requested, something classic, not too bold, and drove to my childhood home. The house was already full of cars when I arrived. Through the windows I could see people mingling with champagne flutes. My mother opened the door in a burgundy cocktail dress, her hair professionally styled. "Jordan, oh, you're wearing that dress? Well, come in." She air-kissed my cheek and immediately turned to greet someone else. The living room was full of hospital administrators and board members. Sarah stood near the fireplace, catching my eye with a subtle wave. My father emerged from the kitchen, genuinely happy to see me. "Merry Christmas, sweetheart," Dad said. "Your mother's been cooking for 3 days. Very important dinner. That CNO position means everything to her." I found a corner near the Christmas tree and accepted a glass of wine. This wasn't a family Christmas. It was a performance. "Dr. Reynolds." Sarah appeared beside me. "Hiding already?" "Observing," I corrected. "Your mother's been working the room impressively," Sarah noted. "She's got Donna Chin completely charmed. That's the hospital CO. I know who Donna is. I brief her monthly on surgical outcomes." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "Does your mother know that?" "Probably not. She doesn't ask about my work." My mother's voice rang out. "Everyone. Dinner is served. I've done a seating chart." Of course she had. The dining room table was spectacular. Fine china, crystal glasses, elaborate centerpieces. I found my place card at the far end. Sarah was seated near the middle between 2 board members. My mother presided at the head, the important guests strategically placed. Dinner started with butternut squash soup. My mother was in her element, discussing hospital initiatives, patient satisfaction scores, nursing leadership. She was genuinely good at this. Charming, knowledgeable, diplomatic. "Patricia," Donna Chin said during the salad course, "you've really transformed the culture on the medical surgical floors. Staff retention has improved 40%. My mother beamed. "It's all about creating an environment where nurses feel valued. Doctors get all the glory, but nurses are the heart of patient care." Several people murmured agreement. I noticed Sarah watching my mother with a thoughtful expression. "Speaking of doctors," Richard Park, who chaired the Patient Safety Committee, said, "the surgical department has been getting impressive reviews. There's a neurosurgery fellow everyone's talking about." "What's their name?" "Dr. Jordan Reynolds," Sarah said clearly, looking at my mother. "Patricia's daughter." The table went silent. Every eye turned to me. "Jordan's a neurosurgeon?" Donna asked, surprised. "Patricia, I had no idea. You never mentioned." "Oh well," my mother said, her smile tightening, "we try not to mix family and work. Jordan's still in training. A fellowship. Very different from what I do. Still in training? Sarah's voice carried a sharp edge. Jordan is completing one of the most competitive neurosurgery fellowships in the country. She's published 6 papers on minimally invasive spinal techniques. Her patient outcomes are exceptional. She's being courted by Mass General, Johns Hopkins, and Cleveland Clinic. My mother laughed, forced. Sarah, don't exaggerate. Jordan's doing fine, but she's still learning. She's certainly not at your level. She will be in 6 months, Sarah countered coldly. Patricia, why don't you tell everyone about Jordan's surgery scheduled for the 28th? The complex pediatric spinal fusion that's been on the department calendar for months. My mother flushed. I don't follow the surgical schedule that closely. It's a 3-level spinal fusion for a 12-year-old girl who's been suffering for years, Sarah continued. Jordan's been preparing for months. Career-defining work. Oh, that's surgery, my mother said dismissively. Actually, Jordan, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. Dread pooled in my stomach. About what? The timing, Mom said casually. Your father and I booked a Christmas cruise. We leave tomorrow, the 27th. 2 weeks in the Caribbean. It's our 30th anniversary trip. That's wonderful, I said slowly. Congratulations. The thing is, Mom continued, we were hoping you'd come with us. Family celebration. You work too hard anyway. A vacation would be good for you. Mom, I have a surgery scheduled. Can't you reschedule it? She asked brightly. I mean, it's not an emergency, right? The girl's been waiting this long, what's a few more weeks? I'm sure another surgeon could take over. This is our anniversary, Jordan. Family should come first. The silence was deafening. You want me to cancel a pediatric surgery, I said carefully, for a vacation? Reschedule, not cancel, Mom corrected. Don't be dramatic. People reschedule medical appointments all the time. It's just a procedure. This isn't an appointment, I said, my voice rising. This is major surgery. The family has been coordinating for months. Emma's been counting down the days. The OR is blocked for 6 hours. The surgical team is prepared. The girl's father took unpaid leave. Her mother arranged FMA. They've lined up childcare for their other 2 kids. But it's not an emergency, Mom insisted. If it were life-threatening, that would be different. But this is elective surgery. Quality of life stuff. Surely our 30th anniversary is more important than a scheduled procedure. Than a child's quality of life? Sarah interrupted, her voice ice cold. Patricia, are you seriously suggesting that a vacation is more important than a pediatric patient's scheduled surgery? My mother's face reddened. Of course not. Don't twist my words. I'm just saying Jordan could delegate to another surgeon. That's what teamwork is about. Actually, Sarah said precisely, she is the only doctor at Riverside General qualified to do this particular surgery. The procedure requires specialized fellowship training. I could do it, I trained Jordan, but I'm scheduled for 2 other critical surgeries that day. We'd have to transfer the patient to another hospital, restart insurance approvals, force the family to travel. Jordan's been building rapport with this child for months. Well, that's not ideal, but nothing, Sarah snapped. Patricia, you're a nurse manager. You understand patient care continuity. You understand that canceling surgeries causes real harm to the patient, their family, the healthcare system, the surgical team's morale. I understand all of that, Mom said defensively. I've been a nurse for 30 years. I'm just saying that maybe just this once Jordan could put family first instead of always putting work first. Because she's a surgeon, Donna Chin interjected quietly. Patricia, your daughter is a surgeon. That means she makes commitments to patients that supersede personal plans. That's the nature of the profession. But it's our 30th anniversary. And it's a child's surgery, Donna said firmly. There's no comparison, Patricia. My mother looked around the table seeking support but found none. Richard Park was taking notes on his phone. You're all acting like I'm a monster, Mom said, her voice shaking. I just wanted my daughter to come on a family trip. What's terrible, Sarah said quietly, is that you don't seem to understand what your daughter does. You minimize her work. You downplay her achievements. You just asked her to abandon a patient, a child, for a vacation and called it putting family first. I'm not asking her to abandon anyone. Yes, you are, Richard Park spoke up. Dr. Reynolds, if you cancelled this surgery on 3 days' notice, what would happen? I took a breath. The family would be devastated. Emma would lose trust in the medical system. The parents have already taken unpaid leave. They can't reschedule. The OR block would go to waste. We'd restart insurance authorization. Emma would remain in chronic pain for months. Her scoliosis would progress, making eventual surgery more complex. She'd miss another semester of school. But it's not an emergency, Mom repeated. It doesn't have to be an emergency to be critical, I said. This is a child's quality of life. You're asking me to tell a 12-year-old that a vacation is more important than her well-being. I'm asking you to prioritize your family. I am prioritizing family, I said quietly. Emma's family. A family that's trusting me with their daughter's spine. The silence was suffocating. My mother's face cycled through emotions. Anger, denial, fear, realization. I need to excuse myself, Mom said, standing abruptly. She left the room, heels clicking toward the kitchen. I'm sorry, I said to the table. Don't apologize, Donna said firmly. Dr. Reynolds, you did nothing wrong. Your mother put you in an impossible position and the board needed to see this. See what? I asked. That she doesn't understand the ethical weight of medical decision-making, Richard explained. The CNO position requires someone who grasps that patient care isn't negotiable. Your mother's nursing experience is excellent, but her judgment about clinical priorities. He trailed off, but the implication was clear. My father returned, looking exhausted. Your mother is very upset. At the expense of a patient, Donna said bluntly. Mr. Reynolds, that's disqualifying for a CNO candidate. The dinner ended shortly after. Guests made polite excuses and left quickly. Sarah hugged me before leaving. You made the right choice, she said quietly. After everyone left, I found my mother in the kitchen wrapping leftovers. Mom, I started. Don't, she said sharply. You asked me to cancel a child's surgery. I asked you to reschedule it. There's a difference. There isn't, I said flatly. Not in this case. And the fact that you don't understand that. I understand patient care better than you think. Then act like it. My voice rose. Mom, you know what goes into scheduling surgeries. You know the coordination required. You know what it means to cancel on a family 3 days before a procedure. You know all of this and you still asked me to do it for a vacation. She was silent. I've never understood why you resent my career, I continued quietly. But tonight I realized, you don't actually respect what I do. You see surgery as something that can be rescheduled, patients as appointments, commitments as flexible. And if that's how you view medicine, then maybe the board is right. Right about what? That you shouldn't be CNO. She flinched. I'm performing that surgery on the 28th, I said. I'm going to help that little girl. And you're going to go on your cruise. But don't ever ask me to choose between patient care and family convenience again. Because there is no choice. I left without saying goodbye. The surgery on the 28th went perfectly. Emma woke up with tears of relief, telling her parents the pain was already better. Her mother hugged me and cried. Sarah found me afterward. Beautiful work. I heard from Donna Martinez. Your mother withdrew her CNO application. Said she needed to focus on direct patient care. That's probably for the best. Are you okay? I thought about Emma, sleeping peacefully in recovery, finally free of chronic pain. I thought about her parents' gratitude, the difference we'd made. Yeah, I said. I am. My mother sent a text 2 days later. Hope your surgery went well. I read it twice, then put my phone away. Some distances couldn't be bridged with casual texts. But that was okay. I had patients who needed me, mentors who valued me, and work that mattered more than approval I'd never really had anyway. Emma was walking by the end of the week, smiling for the first time in years. That was worth more than any family dinner could ever be. 2 months later, I accepted the position at Mass General. Boston felt like a fresh start, 3,000 miles from family expectations and disappointed sighs. My father called the day I signed the contract. Your mother wants you to know she's proud of you. She's just having trouble saying it. She had trouble saying it for 10 years, Dad. A cruise didn't change that. She made a mistake at that dinner. He knows that now. The board asked her to step down from her nurse manager position entirely. She's back on the floor regular shifts. I felt a pang of guilt, then pushed it away. She made her choices. I made mine. Will you call her? Before you move. Maybe, I said. But we both knew I wouldn't. Emma sent me a video 3 weeks before my departure. She was playing soccer, running without pain, her brace finally removed. Thank you, Dr. Reynolds. I made the school team. You changed my life. I watched it 5 times, crying each time. Sarah took me to dinner my last night in town. You're going to be extraordinary at Mass General. They're lucky to have you. Thank you. For everything. For defending me at that dinner. I didn't defend you, Sarah said. I just told the truth. Your mother's the one who revealed herself. We sat in comfortable silence. Do you regret it? Sarah asked. How it all went down. I thought about Emma running across that soccer field. About the 17 other surgeries I'd performed since Christmas. About the families who'd trusted me with their children's futures. No, I said finally. Some people will never understand that patients aren't appointments. That commitments to the vulnerable aren't negotiable. My mother spent 30 years in healthcare and still didn't grasp that. And now she does. Now she does, I agreed. The hard way. Boston was waiting. So were the patients who needed me. I was ready.